Hey there, welcome to the North Solution. In this video, we'll be making embed pagination. If you'd like the full source code of this project so far, then join our Patreon with the link below. Finally, if you'd like to get notified of new videos, as well as get support with your code, join our Discord with the link below. Let's get started. Okay, so first off we need to create the pagination utility. So in the utils folder, create a new file, and we're going to name that buttonPagination.js. Next up, we need to import some things from discord.js. One of these will be action row builder. The next one will be button builder. The next one will be button style. And then we also need to import component type. Next up, we need to module exports, async, interaction, pages, and time, which will have a default value of 30 seconds, so 30 times 1000. Next up, we need to create a try catch statement, so try and catch, and we're just going to catch any errors and console log them. Okay, so in the try catch statement, we need to check if there aren't any interactions, or if there aren't any pages, or if the pages.length isn't greater than 0. Then we're just going to throw new error invalid arguments. Next up, we need to await interaction.defer reply, and it doesn't have to be ephemeral. Next up, we need to check the pages.length is exactly equal to 1. Then we're just going to return await interaction.edit reply. Embeds, which will just be pages. Components, which will just be a blank array, and then fetch reply, which will be true. Next up, we need to create some buttons. So const prev for previous is equal to await is equal to a new button builder, and we're going to set the custom ID to just be previous, or well, prev. We're going to set the emoji to be the back arrow. We're going to set the style to be button style.primary, and then we're going to set it to be disabled, so set disabled to be true. Next up, we need to create the home button, so const home is equal to a new button builder. We're going to set the custom ID to just be home. We're going to set the emoji to be the home emoji. We're going to set the style to be button secondary, sorry. And we're going to set that to be disabled as well. Okay, so next up we need to create another button, so const next is equal to a new button builder. We're going to set the custom ID to be next. We're going to set the emoji to be the forwards emoji, and we're going to set the style to button style.primary. We don't need to disable this one, however. Next up, we need to create a new action row builder, so const buttons is equal to a new action row builder. And we're going to set the components, or add components, sorry, to be previous, so prev, home, and next. Next up, we need to let index be equal to 0 for now. Next up, we need to const message will be equal to await interaction.edit reply. And the embeds are going to be pages index. We're going to set the components to be buttons, and we're going to fetch reply. Next up, we need to create our message component collector. So const mc is equal to await message dot create message component collector, and we're going to set the component type to be component type dot button, and we're going to set time as well. Next up, we need to mc.on collect. I'm going to async I, and it's be equals. There we go. Next up, we need to check if i.user.id is not exactly equal to interaction.userid. Then we're going to return await i.reply. You are not allowed to do this, and it could be ephemeral. Next up, we need to await i.defer update. Next up, we need to check if the custom ID is exactly equal to prev. Then we're just going to index, if index is greater than 0, then we just need to index minus minus. And that can actually be in curly brackets. Then we need to else if i.custom ID is exactly equal to home. Then we can set the index to be 0. And then finally else if i.custom ID is equal to next. So next up, we're going to check if index is less than pages.length minus 1. Then we're going to add another number to, which is going to increase index by 1. Next up, we need to check if index is exactly equal to 0. Then we need to set previous dot disabled to be true and home dot disabled to be true. Else they can be set to enabled. And then finally, we need to check if index is greater than is exactly equal to pages.length minus 1. Then we need to set next to be disabled. Else we can just enable it. Finally, we need to await message.edit pages, which will be index, and then components, which will be buttons. And then finally, we need to reset the timer, so mc.reset timer. And then finally, MC. We're going to check if MC has ended. So we're going to make it async. And we're just going to await message.edit, embeds, which will be pages index, and then components, which will be nothing. And then finally, we're going to return message, like that. Okay, so now we're just going to check if the embed pagination actually works. So in the commands folder, I'm going to create a new command. I'm just going to name it embed. Next up, I'm just going to import the basics from discord.js. I'm just going to import /command builder, permission flag bits, and embed builder. Next up, I'm going to import buttonPagination from utils buttonPagination. Next up, I need to module exports data, which will be a new /command builder. And I'm going to set the title, set name of it to be embed. I'm going to set the description to be send and embed. I'm going to set the default member permissions to be permission flag bits dot administrator, like that. Next up, I'm going to set the user permissions to be permission flag bits dot administrator, and I'm going to set the bot permissions to be a blank array. Next up, I need to run async client interaction. Next up, I'm going to create a try catch statement, so we're just going to catch any errors and console log them. So next up, in the try statement, I'm going to const embeds, which will just be a blank array for now. Next up, for let I equals 0 equals 0. So if I is less than 4, we're just going to I++. I'm going to embeds.push new embed builder. I'm going to set description to just be this page I+1. And then finally, await button pagination. interaction, and embeds. And that's all we need. Okay, so next up I'm going to type node space dot to start the bot. Next you see it's online, it's connected to MongoDB. So next up I'm going to run the command embed. As you can see, this is page 1, this is page 2, this is page 3, and this is page 4, and as you can see that button has now been disabled. So let's click home, and there you go, it's set it to page 1, and then let's just leave it for 30 seconds. And there you go, it's got rid of the buttons. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe to get notified of new videos whenever they're uploaded. In the next revamped video, we'll be making a help command. Remember to join our Discord and Patreon with the link below. This has been the North Solution.